Well, they closed down the mill and they closed down the mine. They said you can't work but pay your taxes on time. Got 3 little babies gonna starve to death or freeze. We started making white lightning, it was Grandpa's recipe. Run, rebel, run to nowhere. Run, rebel, run to the Scott County jail.
Hey everyone, and happy Thursday after Christmas. We're almost here at the end of 2023. You're watching the Jailhouse Informant video podcast. You're locked in live for the next hour with myself and my co-host, Christy Summer.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on this very last Thursday of 2023. I'm telling you, I cannot believe we're here. This year's gone by so fast.
It really is, and we're so glad to be back and be back doing our podcast. If you watched last week, we started back our series where we're talking to jails from all around the country, and we had a really great show last week. If you guys didn't get to catch that, we had the guys from Southern Heat Paranormal, and they were talking about the old Bleckley County Jail there in was it Cochran, Georgia?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
So definitely go back, catch that episode if you missed it, and find out about some of these really cool locations that's around the country. We're really honored to be highlighting those.
Yeah, this is a really fun series, like Miranda said. We'll be continuing it tonight. So we're really excited about that. But we really do appreciate y'all joining us. Know you have a lot of things to do between Christmas and New Year, probably still hanging out with family. I just literally drove into Huntsville, Tennessee from Ocala, Florida. So I just put the car in park and ran in here and got ready for the podcast. But so we do appreciate you hanging with us and hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas, and hope your New Year's plans are coming to focus as well.
Yeah, and speaking of New Year's plans, we've kind of had a weird schedule here with the jail and with the holidays. So, thank you to everyone who stopped by before Christmas. I'm from here, so I was holding down the fort while Chris was visiting with family there at the jail, there in Florida. And of course, we had a lot of folks come in during their holidays before Christmas, and we've had several folks come in this week. So we're going to be in here from 11 to 4 tomorrow, and then also on Saturday, but we will be closed for New Year's Eve as well as for New Year's Day. And then, of course, we'll wrap back up in January. Got a little bit to talk about when it comes to January here. I know last January we worked it to where we were open during the day by appointment only. Being up here on the Cumberland Plateau, we have some kind of wonky weather sometimes here in January, and plus being in a old stone building here, it's a little bit expensive to heat. And so when you decide to come in and take tours and do paranormal investigations, that's really important. And it allows us to help us keep the heat on. And so we have been kind of talking about maybe being closed during the day for the month of January. We will let you guys know for sure, but we're talking about closing during the day, but by being open by appointment only. Yep. And but we've got some really, really exciting things when it comes to our after dark tours.
Yeah, After Dark tours. And then we will have, I know we've been teasing it a little bit, but we will have an announcement that we're really excited about. It will really benefit paranormal investigators. It will benefit us in the town of Huntsville as well. So we're very excited about this announcement. So stay tuned for that. I know we've been teasing about it, but we will make that announcement hopefully by the first or second week of January. Everything's kind of lining up so we can make that announcement. So do stay tuned for that. So to Miranda's point, if you have a group or you have a family member, or a group of family members or whatever that want to come in and tour the jail, by all means, just message us, email us, call us. We will be coming in to check voice messages, but probably just sitting here with daytime hours. We may curb that just a little bit in January.
Yeah. So we'll let you know for sure. Last year we did by appointment only, and then in February we were open on the weekends. But we're trying to look at that, see what we need to do, and we will definitely let y'all know. Now, a couple really cool things about the After Dark stuff is we're offering those every single night of the week. Even though we're not open during the day, we're going to offer investigations every night from January 2nd until March 10th. You can book that. We just ask that you give us 3 days in advance notice, just so that we can make sure that we are planned for staff and that sort of thing. Because even though we're closed, we got a lot of housekeeping stuff that we're doing as far as new exhibits and stocking the gift shop and the After Dark stuff. Yep. So 3 days notice at least on that. And we're also adding extra time for those investigations. So right now you can come and book the jail from 8:30 until 3 a.m. But if you book from January 2nd to March 10th, you'll get 7 days a week, and you'll also get from 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 4 p.m. So we're adding 2 extra hours to the investigation. So you definitely, if you've been here at the jail, you definitely want to take advantage of that.
We'll also have the escape room available also. So that's not going anywhere. So if you want to book an escape room, we'll probably open extended hours on that. So you can definitely book that, come in, have a really fun time with family or friends. You can have up to 4 people in the escape room, and you go up to our 3rd floor maximum security level. You have 60 minutes to try to solve all of the clues and puzzles to get out of that actual maximum security cell. So it is a lot of fun. People have really enjoyed it. So we will have that available also. And again, probably extended hours for that also.
And the guided ghost hunts. The guided ghost hunts are something that's extremely popular. So if you are either a person who is, the hell was that?
That was a cell door.
I don't know if you guys could hear that or not.
Holy crap.
I didn't think it was going to stop.
That was a cell door. That was 2nd floor.
Wow. Anyways, guided ghost hunts are something that is extremely popular here at the jail. And so what that is where we let you go in. Okay. Thank you so much for confirming that you heard that. I thought it was something coming through.
Yeah.
That was insane. I mean, it was bouncing.
Yeah.
So
slamming of the cell door.
We'll definitely have to go back and pull that footage. So anyways, as I try to get back on my train of thought, so the guided ghost hunts, those are 3 hours in length, and you get to investigate the jail with either myself or with Christy, or sometimes both of us. And so we're talking about there with historic rugby, extending those hours on that to 4 hours instead of 3. And again, that's something also that we're going to offer every night of the week, especially here January through March. So if you are part of a team and maybe, you're not wanting to do a full long investigation, or if you're maybe somebody who's interested in the paranormal and don't have a team, but are looking for a fully immersive paranormal experience, we definitely want you to come and check out our guided ghost hunts. We're going to be totally revamping the website on making it even more user-friendly than what it already is. So all of that stuff's going to be happening here at the start of the year.
Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun. So just keep watching for all those announcements, and we'll release when we have the extended calendar up and schedule up. So hope you'll come in and tour the jail after dark or use the escape room.
Absolutely. And that was
Mhm.
that was really kind of funny. It was when we
Yeah.
were talking about the ghost hunts.
Mhm.
That was
I was expecting somebody to come around the corner.
yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit.
As loud as y'all heard it, it was so loud here. That
Yeah.
was crazy.
So we do have ghost walks, our Christmas ghost walks. We do have those wrapping up here this coming weekend. We'll have a tour on Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then one on Saturday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. So if you would like to come and do our Christmas ghost walk, it is an award-winning ghost walk. You get to go through the town of Huntsville and hear some of the history and stories that we have. You get to see the beautiful Christmas lights that the town has put up. It's about a 45-minute walk through town, and it ends with an hour-long tour here of the jail where we share photos, videos, and audio evidence of things that's been captured. So it's a fun tour, lasts about 2 hours. We take 10 people. It's for ages 8 and up. And so we got some tickets left for that for Friday and Saturday night. Go to our website and look under the tour section and you will see those. So get in on that before the holiday season is over with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we, as we said before, we are doing our Jailhouse series where we speak to other owners or managers of jails across the nation. And we will be talking to some international ones here this next year as well. And so this one is actually really cool. The jail will be highlighting, we have the manager of the jail. We actually pre-recorded with her because she couldn't make it with us tonight. So we pre-recorded last week. Great lady. And the location is super awesome. Soul Sisters Paranormal actually investigated there. Got some really cool things. We have not released the video yet, but that will be upcoming in 2024. It's on my my New Year's resolution of things to do. So we spoke with Renee, and so we're going to play this pre-recorded interview, and then when that's completed, we will come back on and talk a little bit more about the location. We have a few different videos that will show with regard to when we were there, and take any of your questions that you may have.
Yeah. So even though the video is pre-recorded, we are still sitting here live.
Yep.
I think I may go try to check out what was going on while we're on that live video. But
Sally says, I'm going.
Yeah.
Let's do this, Mom.
Sally's like, well, let's go, girl.
Let's go.
But I do just want to mention, because I'm really excited about this. We are broadcasting live not only on the Historic Scott County Jail Facebook page, but we are now broadcasting live on the Historic Scott County Jail YouTube channel. So from those of you that are watching us on YouTube, we want to say welcome. If you have yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please go and do that, because we do put these videos on there as well as evidence that have captured, and we've compiled a really cool playlist of all of the different investigation teams that have come and that have highlighted us in their videos. So go check out the Historic Scott County Jail YouTube channel if you haven't already done that. So right now, we're going to go ahead and get into the interview. So if you guys have any questions over in the comments, please feel free to get those on there. And as soon as the interview is over with in about 30 minutes, we'll be popping back on live. So see you guys soon.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And we're very excited about our guest. This is a location that Soul Sisters actually investigated, and it was a fantastic evening, a lot of interesting things. So we're actually joined by Renee, and she is, now, are you the owner or just the manager? Why don't you explain your title of the old Hamilton County Jail?
So technically, I don't own it. It is a lease that the Historical Society had on it for 100 years, and I've been over that for about 25 years, a long time. It just kind of fell in my lap one day. They're like, hey, you want to do this? I'm like, sure, why not?
Good for you. Now, are you from Hamilton County originally?
Oh, yeah, definitely. My family was they were the first settlers here.
Really?
Wow.
So we go back all the way to the beginning.
Wow, that is fantastic. Yeah, I'm a Florida native. I'm from Ocala, and so there's so few Florida natives left that can actually trace their lineage back so many generations. So good for you. So it's kind of almost like you were essentially born into this, if you will.
So can you share some of the history from your county?
Well, we started back with Daniel Bell. He was the first settler. He settled in the Belleville area, and then moved toward this center area. Hamilton is, we are an hour and a half from everything. We're like the center. And it's a little town that's just dying. We used to be a railroad town, and the railroads would come through, and that was where we got most of our people coming through.
Okay.
And then, of course, the interstate stopped it. So ever since the interstates and the came through and the trains stopped coming through, it's just kind of dying.
Mm-hmm. And I think, unfortunately, I think that's what's happening with a lot of these rural counties, especially in Florida, and I know Tennessee to some extent as well, where we have our jail. But, the fact that I'm from Florida, I've seen this in a lot of small towns.
Right.
The railroad really caused a boom in the early 1880s, 1890s, really after the Civil War. But then after that, to your point, once the interstates started coming through, a lot of these towns are dying up. And so for you to be able to actually have this jail and this museum and, bring that influx of tourism into the town, that is just a testament to how well you're doing with the Historical Society and the jail itself.
And from what I understand, this jail is the second longest running jail in the United States.
Which is awesome.
Wow.
It's on the National Historic Registry with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been an awesome little place to a second home.
So how long was it in operation for?
From 1893 to 1986.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And, because we did investigate there, and part of what we do is to go through a lot of the history. And I know you shared a ton of history with us when we did our investigation there. But I think if I remember correctly, this was one of the jails that had one of the last legal hangings east of the Mississippi. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So, they would actually hang them there on site
On the ground,
as capital punishment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now, was this, because like with our jail, this is technically the third jail here in the county. Is that the original first jail there in
I think
Hamilton?
it is the second. I'm not 100% positive. I've got a scale of an older one.
Okay.
But I believe they either built on to that or this is the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I'm not positive.
Can you go and sort of describe to us what the jail, kind of how it's set up and what it looks like?
So when you walk in the front door, there's a bedroom to the right, and that's where the sheriff and his family would stay. And then they have a living room and a dining room and a kitchen, and the kitchen was built on later on.
Okay.
So they would go outside to cook and bring the food in. And the wife or female would cook for everybody, including inmates that were there. The children would sleep upstairs. There was a hanging tower that was never built, and it's right next to the children's room. So to me, that's kind of creepy. Children sleeping in a hanging tower or next to one. But my granddad actually spent time there as a child. His uncle was one of the caretakers.
Oh, really?
So
well, you do have family ties.
Yes. So when and he's 98 this year and still going strong.
Wow. Good for
So
him.
he said they would go in through the kitchen back door, and that's how the family would enter. And then they would never even see the inmates, obviously. But the doors are right there, breaking everything up into little sections. It's pretty awesome.
It really is. And, it's kind of like what we do with this series is we're talking to different jails from across the country, finding out the history and stuff. And yours is similar to ours in that when you look at it from the outside, you kind of have this, this is such a small little place. But when you go into it, it's actually deceivingly big inside.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is. It's huge. And like you said, looking from the outside, it looks, oh gosh, this is small. But it's not, and it seems to go on and on and on.
It does. It does. When we took the tour through there, we went through that main door that accesses all the cells, and then you turned us to the left, and there were some cells back there. I was like, oh wow, this is interesting. And then we went upstairs, and like, this just keeps wrapping around.
Yep.
Now, what was the capacity there? How many did it hold?
17.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then later on, they built solitaire on, which was actually for juveniles. So they had 2 more beds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did it hold both men and women?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was segregated.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very specific on who went where. And then they also had a locals area. So it was described to me when I took over, think of Mayberry. And the cells were never locked, and people would just kind of roam around and answer phones and do some janitorial stuff. And they might even go down to the kitchen and get some snacks for people. That's what was described to me. I was like, that's kind of crazy. Sleep off your drunk and then go on home.
That is hysterical. But it's really common in these county jails.
Mm-hmm.
It's you have sometimes you have a deputy who's a brother to somebody that he's arresting, or a father or something like that. And it's just, to your point, a lot of familial ties in these small little rural areas. And it would be like that. Cell doors open, walk around. I mean, unless you did something pretty violent.
Right.
So once it was decommissioned in 1984. What happened to it? Did you just sit vacant, or?
No, I don't believe so. I moved away for a little bit during that time. So what I understand is, because there's still locals that work there, they use that as a headquarters for a little while. And then the Historical Society took over that back really quick after that. And they had an office there. So, and that stayed the exact same way for years until I took over. Then I found the blueprints for the original jail floor design, and I turned it back like it was when my granddad was a child.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Nice.
So,
that's fantastic. And part of my research for what we did with the investigation, I actually looked at the National Register of Historic Places application for the jail. And what I found fascinating was, I think it was submitted in 1985 or 6. But what I found fascinating was they actually, in the description, mentions the folklore of Hamilton County and Jasper, as well as ghosts in the building. And then the very next paragraph, they start to question the folklore, but they never question the ghosts or the paranormal inside the jail, which I thought was so humorous.
Well, they say it's very, very active there. The ghost and I have a mutual understanding. They don't come out when I'm around, and I'll let people keep coming.
That's a great.
I saw one I would probably freak out.
Now, do they seem to enjoy having the people come to investigate and interact with them?
For the most part, they do. Different ghost groups tell me different things. One tells me, oh, they despise it, they can't stand it. And then another group's like, oh, they want more people. So...
Yeah. Now, did you have a belief in the paranormal before you started working with the jail, or was something you didn't think about? Or,
well, up until very recently, I've been legally blind forever. And one time coming back from we had a 1,000-acre farm, and we would come back the back way into town, and I made my mom stop in the middle of the road because I thought that she was going to hit somebody. I could see him just as plain as day.
Wow.
And there's nobody there. So, and me being blind, I've never really think about what I see, because my eyes take a long time to see things. So I was like, oh, maybe it's something I saw way back when.
Aww.
But then some things have happened and that was when I was an early teen. So, but since then, things have happened that you just can't explain. So you kind of think, oh, well, maybe there is something to this.
Yeah.
I haven't ever seen anything flying or doors slamming. You know, I've seen sounds, seen things out of the corner of my eyes, but
Yeah.
nothing like what other people have described to me.
Gotcha. Now, prior to you really taking over the historical society, did they allow paranormal investigations inside the jail, or was this something that you kind of instituted?
No, I don't even really know how it got started. I had this phone call one time, and this guy's like, "Hey, I want to come and look at your jail and maybe stay the night and look for ghosts." I'm like, "What?" The only thing I've ever done there is turn it into a haunted house.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, well that's cool. Come on." And my kids were young then, and they're like, "Oh, well, we'll stay up there with them." And I'm like, "Okay." So it's been booked ever since. I mean, one phone call after another, and I don't advertise. I don't know how it got really started, but I stay very busy now.
Well, that's how it happens. And, like I said, when we were there, it was a great night. We had a great time. And, we'd investigated mostly prisons and stuff, not really smaller jails prior to coming to yours. But I can tell you, when we walked in there, that jail was immaculate. Upstairs, you had it so clean. Jenny and I talked about it, just how well maintained it was. Now, I know that you had some damage from hurricanes and stuff, which in Florida, that's typical. But, we thought it was just a great location. And, you're very generous with the time and allowing us to stay there. So you really have a great program set up.
I love it. I want people to feel comfortable there and want to come back, because it feels like a second home. And I don't want people to think that they're in a cold space.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And like I said, we had a great time investigating there.
well, thank you.
Now, when somebody comes to investigate there, can you talk a little bit about how long they get to stay there, if it's somewhere they can spend the night, that sort of thing?
In the past, I had accidentally double booked multiple times. So I got to the point where I'm only booking from Fridays to Sundays, and it's one team. So if your team wants to come, you come on a Friday, you leave on Sunday, or leave whenever you want to. But I'm not going to book another group in that time. It's a $70 donation per person, and the money goes straight to the jail. I don't get any money. I don't get paid at all for any of this, even the upkeep and everything else I do. So you come and stay as long as you want. And if there's a group that wants to stay an extra day, I don't usually stop them. The reason why we don't really do weekdays is because I'm a full-time teacher.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to make the money somehow.
You really do stay busy.
And I'm starting my own online school as well. So I thought about opening up my office at the old jail, but I don't have air conditioning and heat down there, so it's really hot. But hopefully that's to come also. We're getting some good repairs headed our way, thanks to a new guy that's taken over as county coordinator. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Wonderful.
They'll have heat in there soon, hopefully, maybe, perhaps.
That is fantastic. And it really does, increase the, help the environment to have that climate control as well.
Yes.
Really helps with the upkeep and just the overall maintenance of the building.
Yeah.
Some of our museum items I've had to move to another location because the weather has affected, like the picture of the hanging. That's in our other museum because the mold was getting to it. It's hard to keep the gel mold free and clean all the time. Because it's Florida.
Humidity all over the place here in Florida. Absolutely.
So and it's amazing without climate control how quickly, museum items and such can deteriorate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our real items are not located there anymore.
Oh, great. And that's one thing I was going to mention is it's also set up as a historical museum. So you don't have to be a paranormal investigator to come and take a look and go through the jail just from a historical perspective.
Right. You just have to make an appointment and hope I'm free.
Now, where is the other items located at? What?
We have our original high school burnt down many years ago, but they have the old ag department left. So the county has turned that into a space for the museum.
That is fantastic. Good for
Nice.
you.
So it's pretty
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah, that is fantastic, because that was not open when we were there. Like I said, it's been a few years since we've been there.
And the ladies of the Historical Society, they'll kill me if I tell you their name, but I nickname them really, really old ladies because they're all scared to go to the old jail. And they're all in their 70s and 80s. And so they want to stay in this nice, clean little space where there's not any ghosts. Of course, actually a ghost down there. And they're all terrified of the jail. So they're like, oh, bring us your items and we'll keep them down here safe for you. I'm like, okay. They have their space and
It sounds like the county with them going to do repairs and such, and then with the Historical Society, it sounds like they've been really supportive of what you all are doing in the paranormal there.
It's just been recent. So just in the past month or so, we had that really bad hurricane.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to come help now. So hopefully, and I've known him forever. So if he doesn't, I'm just going to leave him in the jail and lock the door.
There you go.
There you go.
The original people on the county, one of our former county commissioners, thank goodness he's not there anymore, said he'd rather see it fall to the ground than repair it. And I'm like, are you flipping kidding me?
Wow.
So if I was to the point where I continued getting that kind of attitude from our county, I was going to try to purchase it myself. But luckily, I'm not going to have to because of the new guy that's in. He's really pretty awesome.
Well, that is
wonderful.
fantastic. And
Yes.
it is. You really need that backing from the community.
Yes.
And it's a national treasure, right? It's a state treasure. It's a county treasure. And to have that kind of attitude from leadership, that just it's very disheartening, because
It is.
once this goes, I think this is the oldest building in Hamilton County, correct?
It is.
Yeah. And so,
It
I
is.
mean, once this goes, you can't get that back. So
No.
whether it was a good history or a bad history, it was history. And that's part of your story.
Exactly. And we're doing a lot of more community events down there that are coming up. I've never been to an escape room, but all the teenagers, they're like, let's do an escape room there.
Mhm.
So in the next few months, we're going to have 3 different weekends of escape room events. And I
Fantastic.
do some tutoring down there, so the little ones get involved. And
Nice.
Oh, that is fantastic to really weave that in to the educational story. That's priceless.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's awesome down there.
Well, I definitely want to go see it whenever I'm down in Florida sometime. I know Chris has said wonderful things about it, and a lot of the different investigators that we've had up here at the jail, they always talk about the old Hamilton County Jail. A lot of people have investigated there.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah. So what are, for those who haven't been there or haven't really had any information, what are some of the paranormal claims? What are people experiencing there?
Some of them will tell me the same thing. So I'll have random groups talking about this guy named Charlie, and he likes everyone being there. He was a moonshine runner. So there's no way I never told that story because I didn't know it. But I've had many, many, many groups talk about Charlie through their voice boxes and stuff.
Wow. Well, I know when we were there, and I have not released the video yet. It's one of those that I'm kind of so far behind in the editing process for a lot of the investigations. We did have some interesting experiences there. A couple of disembodied voices. We had a K2 meter that was flipped over, which is kind of interesting. So I am excited to get this video out. But for us, there is that feeling of something being in there, kind of like what we experienced at our jail. You just kind of innately feel that you're not alone when you're up there.
And nobody has ever said there's anything horrible there. They say it's like the party zone for this area. and that is very welcoming. Nobody's ever claimed that there's any demonic anything up there, or it's kind of a party zone.
And that's really fascinating to me because I've investigated quite a few small county jails, and that seems to sort of be the atmosphere with it. I mean, you do have your inmates there that sometimes are a little grumpy and sometimes like to, sort of show that they're, I don't want to talk to you or go away. But for the most part, when you go in and approach them, a lot of the activity that I've gotten in some of these jails have been like when you sit down at like one of the local bars or like a local tavern or something and just having a casual conversation. They really like talking and really like sharing their stories.
Yes.
So I know a lot of other stuff that you do with the jail, like you spoke of the escape room. We have one as well. But you also do a lot of events there also. Do you have any events coming up in 2024 that you'd like to talk about, or kind of something different?
I've given away most of my events recently because, like I said, I'm trying to open up a new online school and possibly a site location, maybe even at the jail for special needs. So that's been taking a lot of my time.
I'm sure.
So we were doing the Blackberry Festival, and that was in June. And I've given that over to the Riverbend newspaper, which my family started. And it was called the Jasper News. It was the oldest running newspaper in Florida until 2 years ago.
Wow, Renee, that's awesome.
So I have their printing press still. So
that's cool. So cool.
So that is gone, and we just did Sweets in the Streets, which I gave that to the chamber because me and a bunch of teenagers, I don't think I can do many more event planning. But that's not to say I won't change my mind next week and plan something really big. Depending what most of the kids in the county want.
That's so funny.
That's how the escape room started. The kids were like, we're bored. Can we do this? So I'm like,
yeah. And not to interrupt, but we do the same thing. I mean, we have an escape room in our jail, and it's a big hit. It's a natural progression of using the jail cells, right? Try to escape.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. Yeah. People love it.
Now, how big is your historical society?
Well, there's me, and there's some family members that didn't have a choice, and some non-family members at our family that didn't have a choice. So it's really small. So I get away with doing just about anything I want to do. I have one person that kind of says, no, we can't do this right now. We can't afford it. So he's like the reason person. There's about 10 of us, maybe.
Okay.
And then I don't know how many of the really, really old ladies that are over in the other location. They're a branch off of us now. Okay. They've kind of gone their own ways because they don't want anything to do with the jail because it scares them. And I get it. They're 70 and 80 years old. They have no business being down there. It's kind of dangerous for them.
Yeah.
So about 10 of us.
Okay. Oh, that's great though.
Yeah.
Again, especially coming from a rural community and a town that you said that, I mean, it really is dependent on the tourist money that you guys are bringing in, to be able to have that core group of people that are so passionate about it. That is very much a testament to what you do. And
that the donations that we get, it keeps with the upkeep. Right now, a lot of our windows are blown out. So that money will go to repairing those windows. It just the everyday things that happen. And we have a lot of repairs. Right before Halloween, we spent close to $1,000 fixing water pipes that burst under the building, and they were destroying the floors. So we had to redo the floors and everything. So without the donations that we get from the paranormal groups, we would be in trouble. I wouldn't be able to maintain the building.
Yeah. And I think that's what people really don't realize about paranormal investigations of the paranormal community. We are willing to go to these locations and spend money, and that money goes directly back to historic preservation.
Yes.
And so for me, and I know for Miranda as well, this study of paranormal tourism is so important because people, I don't think outside of the paranormal community, understand really what we contribute to.
And I've learned, just being kind of on the outskirts of the paranormal community, how awesome the groups are, because they do repairs. If you want, instead of taking money, I'm like, hey, if you're an electrician, I need this, which I haven't come across one, so I'm hoping I do. But we've got plumbers, we've got people that have come in and done pest control, which I'd never seen a bug, so I'm really lucky because I hate them. But we do those sharing things.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. When the hurricane hit, I had so many groups say, hey, what do you need? We'll come help. What do you need? And they were here in a minute. So it's amazing. I'm super thankful with the paranormal groups.
And you see that a lot. There's not just a passion for the paranormal, but a passion for the history and for these locations with a lot of these teams that come in. I know whenever, when I'm giving tours here at the jail to our teams when they come in, that's the first thing I tell them, that it's like, you're the reason we're able to keep the doors open.
Exactly.
And so we absolutely love our paranormal teams.
I really do too.
So if we have people watching that, can't get to your location or aren't paranormal investigators, but kind of want to help to contribute to historic preservation,
I'm so thankful.
Where could they donate to kind of help with the repairs and upkeep?
I'm trying to get one of those set up, but right now we take checks. We're still, some of my people are still in the dark ages on technology and money. So it's just checks.
Okay.
A P.O. box.
So as far as if people want to find out more about the jail or to book an investigation, what is the best way to find out events or more information on the jail itself?
Right now, just look at the Facebook page that we have, and or call me. And I think my phone number is on there. The best way is to text me, because I have my phone silenced almost 100% of the time because of teaching. And I'm always teaching. So even on weekends, I have students.
Goodness, good for you.
Wow. Well, we will definitely put all of that in the show notes, and we'll also put that on the screen there so that people will know how to contact you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I love this series and finding out about all these jails and just the differences, but there's so many different similarities.
Well, we're definitely gonna go down there and visit you again. And again, thank you for all that you do with the upkeep there of the old Hamilton County Jail. And I know that Jasper is very lucky to have you and what you do.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Renee.
All righty.
All right, y'all. You have a great afternoon.
Thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye.
From the old Hamilton County Jail located in Jasper, Florida. Just a great lady. She has done a lot for that jail. She's done a lot for the community. As you heard, her family lineage can be traced back pretty extensively through Hamilton County. I know she's very proud of that. But it's a great investigation location. As you heard me say, Soul Sisters Paranormal, we did investigate there. It is right there near the Florida-Georgia line. And it is a very rural community, and things like this, like paranormal investigations, it doesn't just help the building, it helps the entire community. The things the money you spend at the gas station or the Jiffy store or whatever, that all benefits the community. So if you want more information, just please let us know or reach out to Renee at the old Hamilton County Jail, and she'll get you set up. But she is very generous with her time. As you heard, you get the jail from 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon all the way up until Sunday morning. And you can stay there. We stayed there, and it was just a really cool experience. Sorry, we got Sally knocking stuff off the counter.
Hey, I think the full moon is affecting everything.
I know, right?
Our cats, our spirits.
Right? A lot going on here right now.
Yeah, no, these these segments, I really enjoy doing these. And so, like Chris said, Renee wasn't able to make it on tonight, but she was gracious enough to record with us. So we really thank her for taking that time, because again, just getting the word out about these locations are something that we just really are passionate about and enjoy doing. And when you folks come here to the jail and have investigated or visited some of these other places, we love hearing those stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you do have a jail in your community, or one that you've investigated that's doing something really cool, they don't even have to be doing paranormal investigations, but be open for history, or for even just an office space or a restaurant or what have you. If you have one in your area that you would like for us to highlight, please reach out to us either on our Facebook page, or on the you can even message us through the YouTube channel, or from the website or email address that's scrolling on the bottom of the page there, because we would love to highlight them in our series.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun for us. It's a lot of fun for y'all. We hope it's informative. We've highlighted some jails that I've never heard of, but that are fascinating. And just like the old Hamilton County Jail there, you can really see how much passion Renee has, and that goes for everybody that we interview on this series, and you can follow some paranormal comments and stuff on Facebook groups and such that say that we're just in this for the money. And that's not the case at all. We really do have a passion for this, and it comes through with what Renee is doing. She's not asking an exorbitant amount of money. Literally, the funds are going to repairing the windows and repairing the roof leaks. So, I mean, for heaven's sakes, the jail was built in 1893. So there's a lot of things that need upkeep. And especially there, I know right before we investigated, a hurricane did hit. And so they were, had to do some repairs there as well. But it's a fascinating jail. It has a lot of history, as most of these jails do. And, just going to visit them and talking to these owners and managers about them, I think is very important. And to Miranda's point, we love the series that we're doing.
And if you've been to any of these jails, just going in, I've got some.
I know. What is going on? Your hair just took off.
I swear the spirits are messing.
Something is going on, because that
was weird.
I wasn't going to say anything, but then you brought it up. So
I could feel something.
Like, what?
Wow. So
everybody breathe.
If you've been to any of these jails, you can see just how much goes into the upkeep of them. In this case, keeping the heat going, keeping the lights on, keeping the making it a nice, fun place that's got interesting artifacts. Some of them, it's literally keeping the roof on and keeping the ceiling up. So, these funds that go from your paranormal investigation, I mean, literally, they go right in to keeping these places above ground and keeping the lights on so that you can go in. Chris has actually got, and I assume from your comment, Dee Dee, you saw what
better. Hair fly away.
That was weird. Anyways, Chris has provided some video from when she was here when she visited. So we're going to actually pull that video up, and Chris is going to kind of walk us through a little bit of a tour of the jail. So let me get that queued up right here.
Yeah, and this is just a tour of the upstairs. We didn't really have time to clip everything. So the jail is built, it's a 2-story situation. The downstairs, it has the living quarters and the kitchen, as you heard. But this is the upstairs. So you go up this flight of stairs, and if you turn to the right, there is essentially a middle cell block situation. So there's 2 cells here, and then the jailer's walk would go all the way around. So what we're walking through right now is the jailer's walk, and kind of panning back into these cells. And as you heard Renee say, there were segregation on the other side. I think I'll pan back around in a minute after we go through the jailer's walk. There's another larger cell to the left of the stairs, but essentially this would be the jailer's walk. These bars are designed for maximum security, and they would hold probably anywhere from 3 to 4 inmates at a time. Each one had a little bathroom there as well. But Renee and her group really do a good job of maintaining it. It was very clean. We slept in a couple of these cells, Jenny and I, and is very, very well maintained. So you can go in and know that you're going to have a really good investigation as we kind of walk around again. So this is just an internal block of cells, and we're just walking on the jailer's walk, and then we'll come back around to the top of the stairs. And I can't remember if I pan on this one or not to the larger cell.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I may just stop right here.
Yeah.
But if I were to continue on the other way, sorry, don't want to get anybody dizzy. But let's see here. So this hooks around back, and to our left right now are the stairs that come up. And then to the top on the left of those stairs is a larger, almost like I don't want to say solitary confinement, but it's a lone cell where I think they could have up to 4 inmates up there.
Almost like a bullpen.
Essentially, yeah. Now that was the one area where we did get some activity. Again, I'll be releasing a video on this at some point. But we had a K2 meter that was set up, and during an EVP session, it flipped over, which was, kind of something that we can't explain. And then when you get the jail, when you're investigating the jail, you can sleep in any of the cells. You can sleep downstairs in the jailer's quarters. They do have, when we were there, they had a bunch of historical pictures set up. One is kind of graphic of somebody that was hung there on site. And that was the last legal hanging east of the Mississippi. So they do have pictorial references of that. Now, apparently that's over in the Historical Society building. But they had all that set up. They had the jailer's office kind of set up. They had some kitchen apparatus in the little kitchen. And then downstairs, to Renee's point earlier, that was the women's section. So they did have 2 cells down there where the women were segregated away from the men who were upstairs. And they have some very interesting stories about some of the women that were housed there. So it's a neat little jail. You definitely get a lot of time to investigate. She's very, very generous with the time. Like I said, you can go in on a Friday, you leave on a Sunday. It's a very reasonable price. As I said before, it is in Jasper, Florida, which is extremely rural. And so your best bet is to stay at the jail. There's not much until you go back toward the interstate. There's not really much in the way of lodging or restaurants or anything like that. So the fact that she allows you to stay there overnight for at least 2 nights is very generous of her and the Historical Society.
Yeah, and that's sorry, I was just looking at our calendar for next week as we continue on with
and as you do that, Bob asked, was Scott County were all of the inmates temporary as far as time goes, or did you have inmates that were there for years? Bob, we were a county jail, so most of the inmates here were were incarcerated here anywhere from 1 to 23 months. Typically after 23 months, you were sent to a federal facility such as Brushy Mountain or Morgan State Correctional Facility. That being said, we did have a few outliers that did spend a few years here. They were very rare. But we did have those inmates that for one reason or another did spend time here that was over the 23 months. Also, our maximum security level was a holdover for Brushy, or if you were waiting for your court date, with the courthouse is just across the way. If you were waiting for your court date, you could spend a little bit longer time here. But most of our inmates were 1 to 23 months here in a county jail.
And when you come here, we actually have several really interesting stories about some of our long-term inmates. We've got their documentation and some of their stories, which I think is really kind of cool because we have a very robust true crime museum here. And we really try to, when we're telling our stories, when it comes to the lynchings that took place from here, the murders that took place here, and then also our long-term inmates and some of the more positive stories that took place here, we stick to newspapers. We stick to things that we can physically document. And so we've got a museum chock full of that we share with our investigators when they come here. And they've been able to get some really cool results during their investigations from that. So Great question.
Mhm.
And we definitely hope you come and check us out sometime, Bob.
Yeah, we'd love to have you out
We'd
here.
really love that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so again, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put those up there. We are going to be actually doing, between myself and Christy, we are going to actually be doing a lot more live investigations from both here and also historic rugby.
Mhm.
We're hoping to do each of us a live a month. And so you'll be able to watch that on the Historic Scott County Jail YouTube channel, Facebook page, and on our respective pages, Christy with Soul Sisters Paranormal and me with Ghost Biker Explorations. Probably what we're going to be doing is switching it out each month. Each of us will do a live, but one of us will be live at one of the different locations.
Mhm.
So be on the lookout for that as it comes up. That'll be coming up here probably starting in January, I would say. And just going to kind of look at a few of the comments
Mhm.
over here and make sure. Let's see here. Yeah, definitely, Bob. We would definitely
love to have
love to
you.
have you here.
Absolutely.
And Bob runs a really great Facebook group on there that releases evidence. He allows us to share things on there, as well as different folks that we've seen. So you need to definitely check out Bob's group page on there. We've got Dustin here from Paranormal.
Hey, Dustin.
Professional Paranormal Research. Met you through Miss Vicki Norris, who was a guest on my show, Ghost Biker Garage. And then as Rochelle says, she says, just do it, Bob. She said they got some of their best evidence to date here. So
Thanks, Rochelle.
listen to Rochelle
Mhm.
and just do it.
We're
And
gonna put that on a t-shirt.
yeah.
Listen to Rochelle. Just
there you
do it.
go. And Dee Dee, she's one that always follows what we do on our lives. And definitely go on. If you enjoy
Seven.
dreams and dream interpretations, you need to check out Dream Interpretations by Dee Dee. She does an amazing job, and she'll interpret your dream if you've had something interesting, which I had a really weird dream, Dee Dee. I need to send that to you. I had one last night that woke up with my heart racing after it. It was really bizarre. Not really sure what it means. And then Jennifer says rugby and Scott in March and Florida this summer, possibly.
Yeah, we're really
That
looking
sounds
forward
good.
to having y'all back, and you're really going to enjoy rugby.
Yeah. And so and wow, thank you all so much for your very kind compliments and comments. And Ronnie, we definitely hope that
Yes, absolutely.
yeah. And Mitchell says, what happened on the second floor? I'm not sure. Is he talking about ours?
Yeah, from
Oh,
earlier.
earlier.
So it actually wasn't on the second floor. The toilet paper holder in our bathroom here, which was a former drunk tank, actually came off the wall.
And very active room. That's where
Yeah.
our 7-foot shadow figure that we've captured was caught. That's where our correctional officer EVPs that Vicki Norris caught. Yeah, we went and tried to check that out, and literally the big giant toilet paper thing came off the wall. Yeah.
So we're going to try to figure out why that happened or how that could even happen.
Yeah. So, and then, like I said, something is wanting to play with my hair, which is really weird. So we have that happen when we're doing different stuff here at the jail.
Mhm.
And so on those paranormal investigations, like I said, we've got our calendar open through the end of August. So if you do want to book a date, I know we've seen some folks kicking around dates in March and April and this and that. We highly suggest you get those dates booked because our dates are filling up quick and we cannot hold dates for people. So if there's a date that you want, if you are wanting to book a weekend and come here, because again, we do the investigations at Historic Rugby After Dark. We do the tours, the investigations, and they take care of the lodging, but it is a lodging option. They're 20 miles from us. So it's a great opportunity for you to come and investigate the village of Historic Rugby and investigate the jail. Again, we cannot guarantee dates. So if you are interested in a date, we suggest you get those dates booked now because our calendar is filling up pretty quick. Yeah. And that information can be found on our Historic Scott Co-Jail website that you can see scrolling at the bottom, or you can go to historieshighwayshaunts.com and that will take you to both the historic Scott County Jail page as well as historic Rugby After Dark. And you can book all of that stuff on there.
Yep.
If you do want to do that as a full weekend with both locations, it takes a little bit of logistics work between us and Rugby getting that booked. But if you are interested in something like that, we would be happy to facilitate that for you.
Absolutely. And it's a lot of fun because you get to stay at Rugby, stay in one of the haunted houses there, investigate the village, and then come over here. And it just makes for a very easy weekend for you and a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we know you have, Mitchell. You came up and visited. We're going to be putting some more events on the website here. We're trying to plan for the entire year. We've actually got some great motorcycle things planned that is going to be happening. We're going to be having our 3rd annual Blessing of the Bikes event that's going to be taking place in April. I need to look at that calendar, but I believe it always hits right around April 15th, whatever that Sunday is, 15th, 13th, what have you. So that's growing every year. And so we're really excited and honored to bring the first Blessing of the Bikes to the community. So we will be having that. We'll also be having some of our Bars to Bars motorcycle rides. We're going to be doing more of those coming up here. So if you are a biker and you enjoy jails and history, come and keep an eye on our page and do one of these really unique events with us, because everyone seemed to really enjoy it in the past, and looking forward to us bringing it back.
Yep.
So.
And then, soon here, probably in the next week or so, as Miranda said, we'll get some scheduling up. Both Miranda and I are speaking at various engagements over 2024, both as Soul Sisters, Ghost Biker, and representatives of the jail. So we will be out and about doing different things in 2024. We're very excited about speaking to some paranormal groups as well as some professional groups about historic, the historic Scott County Jail and paranormal tourism. So it's going to be a great year. We're really excited about this. So, if you have any suggestions or anything, or where you'd like us to speak, let us know, because we're always interested in that as well.
Yes. And we will be opening. She's been like that all day.
I know. She's driving me crazy.
It's wild. I'm telling you, it's a full moon.
Yeah.
We will be opening the remainder of the year. That will be from September through December. It should be around February. We try to open that as early as we can, but we're just trying to get our schedules completely finalized and everything. So that's why that's not open through the end of the year, because we've got speaking engagements, and with just the two of us, we have pretty packed schedules with the jail, with Rugby, with all of that. So so we want to make sure that we've got all of that open. And so, but I was just seeing PPR's comment here. We do have dates for 2024. I'm just saying we can't guarantee, until you book. So, so definitely. But if you want to book for 2025, you're going to have to wait till next November, because that schedule will not be open until then. But I know we've got a really, really cool show planned for next week. Like I said, we will be closed on Sunday and Monday for New Year's, but we will be back for the for next week's show, and we're going to actually be traveling to Indiana, and we're going to be covering. I'm really excited about this one. It's the Old Jail Inn in Park County and Drunk Tank Wine Bar. So we may have to pour a glass of wine from our Jailhouse hooch.
Hey, there you go.
See what they've got going on. I don't know that they actually offer investigations. This is the first that I've heard of this location. So it sounds like they're doing something extremely unique with it. And so we're going to be looking forward to chatting with them next Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep. But until then, again, thank you guys so much for hanging with us tonight. We hope you have a very happy new year and a blessed start to 2024. We just cannot thank you enough for the support that you've given us this year, both with the historic Scott County Jail and with Ghost Biker and with Soul Sisters and with Selly. You guys really are amazing. And rugby, yeah, sorry, and rugby. You guys really are amazing, and thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. You've made this a great year for us, and we wish you all the best in this coming new year.
Yeah, and stay tuned. Stay tuned for our scheduling options there in January, so you'll know. We know a lot of folks have come from all over, and we don't want you to make a long trip up here and us not be open for whatever reason. So please stay tuned for those scheduling announcements of how we're going to be handling January.
Yep.
Otherwise, come and plan to see us at one of our After Dark events.
All right, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year.